Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Many times people ask, how to become serious in bhakti? How many of you have this question? How to become serious in bhakti? Okay. बाकी लोग already serious हैं. हाथ नहीं उठा रहे. I had asked this question to one senior devotee. How to become serious in bhakti? Especially see when we chant. So what happens while chanting? So many other thoughts come. So much of planning happens. Yes? Mind goes here and there. Yes. So now what happens is, say I get to know that today I'm going to die. And these are the few rounds which I want to chant. Tell me how intense those rounds will be. तभी सोचेंगे कुछ और. One person was traveling in the flight. One devotee was traveling in flight, and there was a turbulence in the flight. And the pilot announced that कभी भी कुछ भी हो सकता है. Maybe the flight might crash down, or we have to have a water landing or something. And this devotee was chanting very intensely, because now those are the few rounds of his life. But somehow by Lord's mercy, the flight landed safely. And after this, the devotee shared his incident that never in my life I had chanted like that, with so much of focus. What brought actually the focus? Death? Okay, fear of death. Okay, last time. That mood, last time. Urgency factor is the main thing. As soon as that urgency factor comes, naturally you will be able to do bhakti very nicely, very intensely. But जब urgency factor नहीं होता है ना, तभी एकदम ठंडा ठंडा चलता है. All the devotees will also agree with me, the ones who are practicing every day 2 hours of chanting. When the urgency factor is not there, तो तभी ठंडा ठंडा चलता है. But as soon as we get the urgency factor that I should, for these reasons, I should be more serious, then naturally we will be able to focus on our daily activities that we do. I'm talking about devotional service. See, our current situation is very nicely described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Please repeat. Prayanalpayushya sabhya kalavasmin yuge janah manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya hi upadrata. So these are the different glorious qualities of Kali Yuga beings. What are those? First, prayana alpayu. We are very, very short-lived. Chota sa lifespan hamara. How much small? 80. 60. 60 pe. 60. 100 koi. Actually, even those numbers are also big, 60, 80 also seems big nowadays, to be frank. 40s, 20, 30 also we have examples recently. Therefore, in Kali Yuga, the lifespan is very short. It is described as the Kali Yuga progresses. If someone is 30, that person will be considered to be the oldest in the society. Yes. Can you imagine what's going to be the case in future? It's going to be really pathetic. Living after 30 is going to be a very big challenge for people. Anyway, so prayana alpayu, short life. Then manda, very slow when it comes to learning spiritual practices. Very slow. They don't show much interest. We started with a huge crowd of people in Gita course. If I'm not wrong, we registered around 500 participants. अभी देखिए आजू बाजू देखिए कितने लोग बचे. See? This is what is the exact case. Manda. People don't show interest in growing in spiritual life. And they're very slow in learning about spiritual life. Sumanda Matayo. Even if they are inclined, they are interested, there will be people to misguide. Unfortunately. Manda Bhagya, unlucky. Sometimes many participants say that we want to come for the session, but these problems at home. Therefore, I'm not able to come. Unlucky. And finally, Upadrata, disturbed. Even after having association, even after sitting in the association of devotees, still, when the mind is disturbed, we cannot focus. Yes? And you know what? In every phase of life, person is disturbed. You ask a small kid also for that matter, disturbed. One of our very senior devotee, he was addressing a crowd of all married people with kids. He asked, how many of you are short-tempered? Raise your hands. So 2, 3, no, it's okay. I'll not do all this. So there in that crowd, 2, 3 people raised hand, and there was a small girl, 5-year-old girl, she raised her hand. And then Prabhu was asking everyone to stand up, and then girl was also asked, why you are short-tempered? She said that whenever I want something and I don't get it, I feel very angry. Very bold, very nice. Very nice training at home. So the point is that right from the small kid till the old person, everyone is disturbed, you see. And if I ask you why people are disturbed, okay, tell me why people are disturbed.
What they want, they didn't get.
Okay. Whatever they want, they didn't get, so they're disturbed. What else? Their expectation not fulfilled. What else? Okay, lamenting for past, kho gaya, that I lost. And hankering for future, I want this, person is disturbed. Yes. And? Too much focus on material things. Very nice. Okay, duality. I was not respected here, I was not honored here, etc., etc. You see? From gross to subtle, where there are many, many reasons to get disturbed in this world. But you know what is the primary reason? Primary reason is in general, people are not practicing spirituality. People are not going deep in bhakti. Even those devotees who are practicing for quite some time, but still, if they are disturbed within, it means bhakti is not going proper. Spiritual practice is not quality, that's what it means. So one thing is very clear, spiritual life is important right from the childhood till the last breath. It's important for everyone. But still, we have, in India, we say, that spirituality is meant for retirement time. Itna jaldi bhi kya hai? There was one place where I was giving these sessions in 2018. And a lot of people were there. And suddenly one day, almost 60 people were missing from the class. And I was wondering what happened. And then I got to know that there was some person who preached to those people. Itna bhi jaldi kya hai? We can do it in the old age, not now. Why so early? Today we'll try to understand if really bhakti is for old age. And for all the devotees who have been practicing for quite some time, we can analyze for ourselves that what are we waiting for? Why are we not advancing? Why that urgency factor is not getting created? So all of you, belong to different grades of devotional service now. So all of you can analyze for yourself that the urgency factor at your level. Okay, let's start with college students. For college students, bhakti is important? Yes. Why? वही तो टाइम है एंजॉय करने का, उसमें भक्ति कहाँ घुसा रहे आप लोग? Why? Okay, make decisions, right decision. To judge the difference between right. They feel they know what is right, what is wrong. Okay, that's what they say. See, one of the important thing to understand is, this is the phase in which people get spoiled very badly. All of us sitting here, if we were educated nicely in bhakti right from school days, college days, kitna sahi hota na, kitna acha hota. We are not got troubled now when we are chanting Hare Krishna. Therefore, it's very important to note this is the phase when they'll get into bad habits and their life gets ruined at this point of time. And spiritual life is something that helps the person to always remain intact and fixed, grounded. In what? In spiritual practices. And naturally, you'll not get attracted to all these nonsensical things. This is the first thing. And also, it's very unfortunate that we get to hear so many cases where youngsters commit suicide. This was a couple of months back when one couple had come to meet, and that lady was crying like anything. This was night 9 o'clock. And that lady was crying. I said, you stop and first tell what happened. And then she shared that my younger brother, he committed suicide. I said, what was his age? She said 20. I asked, what's the reason? What happened? He recorded a video before committing suicide. In that video, he's saying that I lost the football match and I've scored less in my exam. So he hanged himself. It was this year, 1st of Jan. Yes, this year, 1st of Jan, I was giving a class to youth boys. And then one of the boy, he went to his PG. And then his roommate was not opening the door. He looked from the window, he found him hanging from the ceiling. And the reason is something like this, only stupid. I was thinking that day, when both these cases, when I heard, I was thinking, if these people would have attended our classes, once, and they would have chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra, never they would have done all this. I was feeling very guilty. Why these people didn't come to our place? Why we couldn't pull them to our place to attend these sessions? Therefore, it's very important to note that right from this age, bhakti is very, very important, because bhakti, spiritual practice, gives a very, very deeper perspective of life, and the person will find some meaning wherein he'll not get into all these nonsensical things. Let's go a bit further. When it comes to corporate professionals, for corporate professionals also, bhakti is so very important. Why? You all are working. Tell me why. Or it reduces stress. Ghar ka stress ki office ka? Oh, both. Very well. Yes. And it reduces stress. Okay, it helps to take decision. Yes. To keep oneself calm. Okay, so that they can focus. Okay, time management also. How time management happens to spiritual practice? We'll get up early. And also at the same time, when you start doing spiritual practices, naturally your focus starts increasing so much. Yes. I remember this was 2016 or 2017. I got a mail from Hyderabad. I was still studying, but I got a mail from working professional. And he had a hefty package and all that. And he was telling that I'm not able to balance the pressure that I have in the office. So I dump that when I come home onto my wife and my young daughter. What can I do? Now, I myself was a student. And I was wondering, what should I tell him? But one thing is very clear in our iskcon and Krishna consciousness. Chant, be happy. Naturally, with time, you'll get stabilized. And I told the same thing. Chant Hare Krishna, read bhagavad-gita. And guess what? Just by doing these few practices, that person was fully stable and pacified. And then we got another mail saying that yes, this works, the process works. And especially one thing is seen, that more we dive deep in bhakti, more we go deeper, not just keep floating on the surface, we will see the strength that the person gains. In any situation, the person will be able to manage himself very nicely. Especially people working as professionals has to make sure that they dive deep in devotional service. So even for corporate professionals, it's so important. And also, it's a very important thing which with time it is dying off. And somehow I request all the devotees, that's very important to revive this one thing. That marriage is a very, very sacred act that takes place. And marriage is meant for begetting a very, very divine kid. Now, unfortunately, this is forgotten with time. And the only thing that remains is the pomp and enjoyment in the entire ceremony or whatever after that. So if male and female, they have good consciousness, a very elevated consciousness. When the male and female come together in that right consciousness, they are able to attract a very, very divine soul. Technically, in Shastra, it is called as Garbhadan Samskar. There are Dasha Samskaras. All the samskaras needed for the kid. The first samskar is Garbhadan Samskar. There's a process to make his consciousness ready. And when the male and female are ready with their high consciousness, when they unite, they pull a very, very high conscious, a very, very highly spiritually elevated soul. And recently also, some of my students, they were bachelors when they were practicing bhakti, nicely got trained in bhakti. Then they married a girl who was also nicely trained in bhakti. So both of them, nicely trained devotees when they came together, literally a divine kid was born. And we see that these kids, when they cry, when kirtan is played, when kirtan is done, these kids stop crying. And they keep listening to the kirtan. And I have a very 180-degree opposite example also. So one of my student, he was sharing that in his building, they had given their second floor for rent. And the tenant who was staying there, she was pregnant and she was hearing rock music all the time. So now when the baby was born, baby would stop crying only if rock music was played. Aap samajh gaye. Yes. Last month, I was in Vrindavan and I had gone to a devotee's place. They're very close to my heart. They're very senior to me. They've been practicing from 1990s. So I met and their daughter was also there. So she got married. She's younger to me. She got married and she has a kid. Now since parents were already devotees, so kid was a devotee right from childhood. So this girl was a devotee right from childhood. So she was trained very nicely. Now when she was pregnant, she read Bhagavatam in 8 months or 7 months. She read Bhagavatam twice. All the 12 cantos of Bhagavatam twice. And third time she was reading. It was 9th month and the labor pain started. And she was very firm that I'll complete Krishna Lila and then only I'll give birth to the child. And she was telling me when I had gone there, so she was telling me that I was almost about to complete. Last few chapters were there. I carried my mobile in the operation theatre also. And she was so happy. She was sharing, Prabhu, you know what? I completed the Krishna Lila and then only I delivered this child. And literally I could see that child to be so divine. Firstly, that child does not like to wear pant shirt and all. He likes to wear only dhoti kurta and he likes to put tilak all the time. He does not want to speak also now, for your information. Second, when I went there, he was so happy looking at me. And then again and again, he was troubling his mother. I said, what happened? Why is he doing this? Then she started saying, he wants to serve you prasad. Come sit. I sat and this small boy is coming with vessels and spoons and serving. And he's crying only for this, that I will serve Prabhuji. I was wondering, wow, itna seva bhav bachpan se. And then I started leaving, again started crying. Ask him to stay back, ask him to stay back. He does not know me. First time, we're seeing each other. And also I got to know that how much inclination that kid has towards hearing Krishna Katha and Krishna Kirtan. This is called as divine child. So can you imagine how much important it is for those people who are about to get married or the pregnant ladies who are going to beget kids, how much important this bhakti is for them. Yes. So I always tell, program the child before the child comes to the planet. Program it in the womb itself. Either you invest before the child is born or you invest after the child is born. After child is born, you have to invest throughout your life. Sometimes parents get their kids and they say, Prabhuji, boliye na isko, sunta nahi hai meri baat. Then I look at the parent and say, tumne to paida kiya aise? Aur kya hoga phir? When your consciousness is not proper, what happens? The demons will only take birth. Yes? And many times you see in this world now, demons are only there, so many, unfortunately. Therefore, I always, whenever I address the bachelor boys, unmarried boys, I always tell them this point, that this is the time to train yourself. And all the devotees sitting here, It's your duty to make sure you train your kids so that when they grow up, they can invite some divine soul into the family and not a demon. And also at the same time, I would like to highlight, when it comes to parenting, it is such an important element. Bhakti is such an important element in parenting. Now, it's not that the parents have to screw the child that you have to do bhakti. No pressurizing I'm talking about. When parents themselves practice bhakti very strictly, without they telling the kids will naturally take up devotional service. Naturally. Whereas if the other way, the kids pick up anything and everything that takes place, that happens in the family. Again, during my college days when I was taking classes for small kids, faculty kids, plan was that through kids, I'll preach to faculties. That was the plan, because as a student, I cannot directly preach to the faculties. So 5-year-old kids, 7-year-old kids and all would come. I think addressing adults is very easy than addressing kids. Therefore, whenever our devotees take kids class, I always say, hats off to you. This I can never do. My experience was very bad. I would tell the entire Krishna Leela, some pastime, and then a kid will raise the hand and say, whatever you have told is wrong. I will tell you. Oh, I cannot shout, I cannot tell anything, I cannot correct. I said, okay, come, you tell, I'll hear. So in this way, these kids, they were there. One day what happened is, we were all sitting after, and then we were serving prasadam to these kids, me and my team. And then one kid came, a small girl, and she started saying, Sir, you know what happened yesterday in my house? And we thought, now some secret is going to get blasted now. We said, no, tell what happened. And she narrated the entire fight that took place between the husband and wife, and what happened, what they spoke to each other, what was the reason, etc., etc., etc. One thing that I could see from that particular case study was, kids pick up anything and everything that is happening in the family. 50% of what good is happening and 200% of whatever bad is happening. You all agree?
Yes.
Oh, you're 100%. Yes. So this is seen, and also many times, however the parents behave, kids also behave like that. I've been hearing from the mentors here, or other devotees, they all have kids. And I see, since they are practicing bhakti, very nicely, very strictly, their kids also pick up, very nicely. In some birthday parties and this and that, when they go and say the cake has egg, these kids will not touch that. Come what may. Yes. Now see, just imagine all the kids are eating cake, chocolate and all. And now this kid is just sitting. Just think about it. Do you think by force this can happen? This is a subtle training that takes place naturally, even without telling. I know some kids, from our mentors' kids, even if you give them biscuit or something, they'll go to the Lord and show it, and only after you eat, I can eat, please take. They offer in their own style. How all this takes place? And sometimes I hear some other center I was hearing, some other mentor's kid. It seems when they go to the native place, the kids are preaching to adults. That what is this? You're eating non-veg? How can you kill animals? Oh, it's so disgusting. Krishna will punish you. This and that. Then I was asking that mentor, did you teach all this? I said, no, I'll never teach all this. Then I was just making out that what parents discuss, what they are hearing in the classes, what they are sharing, everything these kids hear. And all that is getting registered. And I always ask all the parents, how long will you take care of your kids? Max till 10th standard. Once they step out from the house for college and all. Yeah. Just imagine he's sitting in some pub and you're asking, Beta, kahan ho? Papa, iskcon temple mein. Tell me how you want to catch that person. Yes. Therefore, I always tell this one thing, that parents can hold the kids only if they train the kids in Krishna consciousness. Because you need not hold, Krishna will hold. Krishna will inspire, Krishna will give the clarity of what the kid is supposed to do. For this, parents have to be very nice devotees, where they're doing everyday chanting. See, I don't know if you have observed, in this world, people are more interested in your actions than your words. So whatever we are doing, they observe and they try to follow, or they try to use those actions only to counter in various different arguments. Therefore, it's very important that if we are very nice devotees, naturally people around who are looking at us will follow. And when this takes place, our preaching is already done. But when we are dicey in our bhakti, one thing you remember, people will not take it up very seriously. You might keep telling. I had gone to one house, husband wife were sitting and watching TV, and they were telling, प्रभु देखिए ना जब करता ही नहीं है, तब से बोल रही उसको जब कर. अरे माता जी आप तो टीवी देख रहे, ऐसे जब करने बोल रहे. So words don't work, actions work. Therefore, this one point which I would like to make is it's very important that when parents are practicing bhakti nicely, naturally kids will follow. Nicely, matlab consistently, every day. And some kids, I sometimes ask our mentors, how your kids, they are programmed to come to the programs, which we have here. And our mentors do say, "Abhi unke option nahi hai." We come, they come. And just by coming, they learn so many different things. They learn the etiquettes, they learn the different devotee jargons that we use. They learn everything. So nice, so wonderful. Therefore, spiritual practice in parenting is also a very, very important thing. Very, very important. The most important topic for today is this: a spirituality, a retirement program. Is it so? Okay, so we all know the answer. But let's analyze it more deeply. This time is going to come in our life also. Yes. अभी फोटो खिंचा के रख लेना अच्छा वैसे. जब स्किन ठीक है तभी खिंचा के रख लेना. फिर बाद में ऐसे लगाना दोनों फ्रेम साथ में. After another 20-30 years. Yes. Tell me one thing. Is it easy to start bhakti in the old age? No, health doesn't allow. Yes, health doesn't allow. And लाइफ पे कोई भरोसा नहीं है. माता जी लाइफ पे कोई भरोसा नहीं है. किसको पता ये फोटो मिलेगा भी या नहीं अपना. Correct, no? Yeah, true. And what else? Why it's not easy to start bhakti in old age? Yes, sanskar pakke ho jate. See, old people are like the grown-up tree. You cannot bend the tree. You cannot do anything with the tree. Yes. There was a nice saying which I came across. Young minds are like wet cement and the old ones are dried ones. When the cement gets dried up, what can you do max to max with it? Break. That's it. You cannot modify now anything. So therefore, one point is there, when I have seen in my own classes, when senior citizens are there in the classes. Now we start, there are some who are attentively here, but I have seen majority of them. So I start Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So they chant the first time. Third time they're asleep. Yes. And at the end, Srimad Bhagavad-gita ki, Granthrat Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, and they get up, Jai! And the best part is, they coming to me and saying, Prabhuji, class bahut acha tha. That is the best part of अच्छा था क्योंकि आपने इतना अच्छा क्लास दिया कि मुझे बहुत अच्छी नींद आई throughout. See, actually it's not their mistake. The health is like that. The body is like that. When you sit, you cannot stand. When you stand, you cannot sit. The bowel system is not functioning properly. The pain here, pain there. उसके बीच में कहाँ chanting करेंगे? They cannot sit like this on the floor. Difficult. It's very difficult. Yes, this pain, that pain. उसके बीच में कहाँ chanting करेंगे? And also another thing to note, I have personally seen this, as the person grows older and older, the tongue gets swollen. And to twist the tongue to say Krishna becomes difficult. आप लोग कृष्ण बोल सकते हैं? बोलिए कृष्ण. You're able to twist your tongue, huh? Although you're not become old yet. Just imagine when the time comes when you're twisting the tongue, it becomes difficult. And I've personally seen, this was 2011, in my initial days of bhakti. I was in the temple. Early morning I went to temple to chant. So there was an old person who came newly for the first time. And one of the devotee was teaching him how to chant. He He was trying to help him to understand how to chant Hare Krishna. He was struggling to chant Krishna, the name Krishna. Very difficult. So therefore, with time, but practicing bhakti in old age is very, very difficult. Very difficult. Shankaracharya, he writes in his Bhaja Govindam song, very beautiful thing. Please repeat. Angam galitam palitam mundam dashana vihinam jatam tundam vruddho yati grihatva dandam tadapi na munchatyasha pindam. Okay, you all translate it for me. Angam galitam means the body weak. Body becomes weak. Body deteriorates with time. Yes. Many organs fail also, right? Kidney fail, this fail, that fail. Yes. Angam galitam. Palitam mundam. Are you? Yes. So बाल उड़ जाते हैं, इसलिए हम voluntarily उड़ा देते हैं. As we become older and older, yes, the hairs fall. Dashana vihinam jatam tundam. नहीं, eyesight नहीं है. हाँ, दांत. So with time, all the 32 teeth, they start falling one after another. And जो बच्चे कुछ उसको निकाल के then we fit. Yes, the artificial ones. Vriddho yati grihatva dandam. Simple. What happens with that? नहीं है ना, grihatva dandam. नहीं. You carry a danda. Now you need a danda to walk, a stick to walk. Yes? But the last line is very important. Tadapi na munchati asha pindam. Itna sab hone ke bawajood. Desires don't go nil. Desires don't go nil. It goes on increasing and increasing and increasing. I have a very important analysis, which we'll do it now. Obstacles in old age to practice bhakti. And all the devotees also have been practicing for quite some time. It's a very, very important thing for us as well. If we don't perfect our life as soon as possible, old age में बहुत problem होने वाला है. I made an acronym also so that we can remember. Before there was no acronym, I thought let me make one so that all of us can remember. CAMEL is the acronym. CAMEL. CAMEL. C stands for crisis. See, as the person gets older, what happens is there's a feeling of crisis. And what is that crisis, The crisis is, I didn't do anything in my life. He has done a lot, but still he gets this thing, I didn't do anything in my life. Tell me why. Why the feeling of crisis? Hey, one guy. What? Dissatisfied. Okay, die anytime. But then still, he has done so much now, but he's thinking that he has not done anything. Why? Okay, what did he do? Okay, whatever he has done is materialistic. Okay. He couldn't discover the inner happiness. Okay. See, अब तक उसने जो भी किया, it was all on the material platform. Yes. And now, whatever it is, be it possession or whatever, everything is going off. He can see that. And naturally, the feeling of crisis, that I didn't do anything in life. Because at that point of time, he does not have anything tangible with him now. Make sense? Yes? So you can imagine yourself also at that point, maybe another 10, 20 years, 30 years down the line. Nothing tangible is there in my hand now to analyze, and I feel there's some crisis. There's something called midlife crisis also, I heard. I heard there's something before that also. Some crisis before that. I forgot the name. Recently, some youth boys were telling me. So, why all these things? Because people feel I've not done anything tangible. Because on the material platform, things are temporary. And they're able to see that things are going off. And suddenly they realize, Arey, kiya kya maine abhi tak? What did I do in my entire life till now? This crisis. A, anxiety. What is anxiety that old people have? आप लोग बोल रहे प्रोजे हमारे लिए थोड़ा टाइम है, मुझे तो पता नहीं है. What is anxiety in the old age? Okay, health, death. See, for them the anxiety is what will happen now? What will happen to my family? What will happen to my property? What will happen to this? What will happen to that? This is the anxiety that they have. After earning so much of wealth, now what will happen to this wealth? Who will take care of this wealth? This is the anxiety. Many times, this anxiety kills the person. So much of anxiety. And with this anxiety, tell me, bhakti karna possible hai kya? Oh, with this feeling of crisis, with this anxiety, how can someone do bhakti? Very difficult. M. Mind is young, but the body is old. Have you heard this saying in Hindi? Budhape mein jawani. Have you heard this? नहीं, बचपन में बचपन ठीक है माता, जवानी is danger. बचपना is still okay. Actually, I have come across multiple case studies now which has thoroughly convinced me if I don't attain certain level of consciousness now in my spiritual journey, I would have tough time in my old age. I was invited to one place to give a talk, and after giving the talk, I was talking to one lady, wanted to talk to me, old lady, and she had shared this. She was crying and crying. I said, "What happened? Why are you crying?" And then she shared this very thing that gave me goosebumps. She shared that my husband has got extramarital affairs. Affair nahi, affairs. Then I asked, "What does your husband do?" Then she said, "See, my husband, he keeps sending 50,000, 1 lakh to Kolkata, Delhi, Mumbai. They're from Bangalore. 3 places." I said, "To whom?" "Young girls." I said, what is the age of your husband?" She said, 74. 74. I was shocked. बोला ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? And she was explaining also that she was calling me sir. Sir, see, as soon as he gets up, the first thing that he does is he takes the mobile and then he sees the WhatsApp messages and he'll send, "Love you, darling," this and that. It seems she got to read all that and she was telling me that this is what he does. This is how his morning begins. There's Mangalarti for him. This is how his morning is beginning. And ऐसा एक case नहीं है. I was shocked to hear from one of practicing devotees only, उनका कोई relative. So that person is 64 or something. And he has his wife at home. But then he has got some other lady also outside the home. Abhi, nothing else to do. He's going and then talking to that lady and I don't know what they are doing. And then he comes back and he was caught red-handed. And then he's saying, "See, I want her also to come and stay with you here." And the wife was like, "No, this is not possible, etc., etc." Then he said, "Okay, you go out. It's okay. I want her. I'm in love with her." 64 age में love थोड़ा अजीब नहीं लग रहा सुनने के लिए. But you know what? This might be very humorous for us. But in the old age, we never know अपने साथ क्या होने वाला है. Why this happens, you know? When the body is young and the mind will never grow old. We studied about gross body, subtle body. Gross body will grow old, but subtle body will remain subtle only, no? It will remain the same. It's going to remain young. So now, when we had enough energy in the body and we have not practiced enough proper bhakti and we have not come to a certain level of realization, what happens is when we hit certain age, and at that time when we have nothing else to do, throughout our life, whatever we have seen, whatever we have heard, whatever we have contemplated, all that will manifest. All that will manifest. I'm just remembering this incident which my friend, this was in 10th standard, when I had gone to my friend's house, so his mother was sharing that what do you call it as? Sasur, father-in-law. So he was 80. And now when no one was there at home, so the father-in-law would try to go and do some nonsense with the daughter-in-law. 80-year-old person. So that lady was telling this and crying to me. That time. I remember this. Suddenly I remembered this. So can you imagine what takes place in the old age? Yes. Mind is young. Very, very dirty mind. Very dirty mind. We never know what's going to happen. Therefore, if now we don't train our mind and cleanse our mind properly by chanting Hare Krishna, trust me, it's a gone case later. जो भी आप लोग में से सोच रहे हैं ना कि ठीक है अभी सब सीख लेते हैं और जब रिटायर होने का टाइम मिलेगा तो जब करेंगे, नहीं जब नहीं करेंगे, माइंड नहीं करवाएगा, जब माइंड कुछ और करवाएगा. Please remember, now the mind has to be cleansed. All the cleaning should happen now, complete cleansing. Even for all the devotees who are hearing me, the mind has to be cleansed completely, because we cannot get such nonsensical thoughts at the time when we are so old, about to die. Mind is young. E is exposed to reality. See, as the person grows old, what happens is he gets exposed to the reality of this world. What is the reality? Reality is whatever possessions I had, all that is temporary, all that will go away now. Reality is all my bodily limbs are now getting destroyed one after another. Reality is people around me, they're leaving me and going. All this reality will come, manifest in front of our eyes. And when we are exposed to that reality, oh, that's a very pathetic situation. और बहुत बार ऐसे भी होता है that the person is not able to accept the reality only. He suffers like anything. Because he never expected this will happen. Never expected this will happen. And I don't think all of us sitting here, we're expecting something, या old age में ऐसे होगा, वैसे होगा. Anyone meditates like that every day? After chanting Hare Krishna, let me 1 minute meditate on my old age. But this is going to manifest. L is loneliness. Loneliness is no one is taking care of me. I did so much for all these people, but no one is taking care of me. No one is helping me. No one bothers about me. All these different things. So in this loneliness, the person will just be a burden for others. So this is the old age obstacles that we see. And tell me, ये camel के साथ भक्ति कर सकते हैं क्या? Impossible. Impossible. We cannot. Therefore, I always say, it's very, very important that now, when the mind and the body both are comparatively young, we have to just make sure that we go deep in devotional service. And when we go deep in devotional service, we can avoid this. We'll discuss that also, how this will get avoided. And also, it's a very important thing to note that at a certain age, only an advanced spiritualist can quit his material responsibilities at the right time. Or else what will happen is, we'll keep thinking, no, I have to keep doing this, it's my responsibility, I have to do this, As karte mar jayega. Therefore, it's very important, even to quit at the right time, the material responsibilities, one has to be a very nice advanced spiritualist. Another very important thing which I would like to mention is, as a materialist grows old, his value increases or decreases?
Decreases.
Yes, his value decreases. Okay, tell me why his value decreases. Okay, he has nothing to offer at that time for people around. Yes? We still know what was he offering? Maybe some money or maybe some protection or whatever. Abhi kuch nahi kar sakta ho, physical platform. What else? Why his value is decreasing? What did he do throughout his life as a materialist? Accumulate possessions, sense gratification. Throughout his life, sense gratification, hardcore sense gratification. Now, when his kids come into picture, or grandkids or whatever, so they say that, see, I can do better sense gratification than you now. So the value of that person has decreased because the other people, the next generation is able to do better sense gratification now. So unfortunately, throughout my life I was doing only sense gratification, and now when I'm not able to do, now the next generation says I can do better than you. Why should I value you? Whereas it's the other way around for a spiritualist. As a spiritualist grows older and older and older, his value goes on increasing. First and foremost, a spiritualist, a bhakti yogi will never feel crisis. Because now he has come to a certain level of realization in bhakti. He understands the reality of this world. And he'll never feel crisis because he has tangible things now with him, and those are the wealth of realizations. What are the different realizations that a devotee gets while practicing bhakti? Like life is short. So he's ready for it. Again, he is not permanent, things are not permanent. Yes, nothing is permanent. Okay, detachment. See, all these things are there, but some positives. What realization he gets? What is that? Okay, he becomes blissful with time. Why he becomes blissful? Because he realizes one very, very important thing, that my Lord is always with me. This realization. And he takes complete shelter of the Lord, and he feels the shelter of the Lord, which a materialist cannot feel. Therefore, he feels crisis. A materialist will feel crisis because no shelter, no? But whereas a devotee, he feels the shelter of the Lord. Like a small baby in the arms of the mother. He can feel that. They will not feel crisis. That's what, yes, he had taken shelter. Now, anxiety. A devotee will not feel anxiety of anything. Because he will not think what will happen next, what will happen next. Why he will not think? Because Lord is there. With time, see, one is dialogue. Bhagwan sab dekh lenge. Another is to actually realize and feel it. Dialogue मारना आसान है. किसी movie में सुन के मार लो, what's the problem? But actually to feel it and to live our life like that, oh, that's difficult. Therefore, it's very important to note, a devotee will not be in anxiety because he will not think what next, because he's very clear, my Lord will take care. Even if some things are going wrong, if something is out of control, a devotee is okay with it because he has realized it might be out of my control, but Lord is in full control of everything in this world. And Lord has the best plan for me and everyone around. You see? ये सब आप लोगों को शायद पता होगा ये सब. I'm not saying something rocket science. But to realize this is important. And how do you realize? Only through spiritual practice. It's not through the increasing age. But through intense spiritual practice, a person can realize these higher subject matters of spiritual life. Mind is young, body is old. Mind is young, body is old, but the mind is now completely tamed and trained to be always fixed in service of Krishna. Savai Manah Krishna Padara Vindayo. There's a personality called Amrish Maharaj. He says, Savai Manah Krishna Padara Vindayo. He would always engage his mind in service of the Lord. Just imagine, we are very old, we are not able to do anything with our body. But you have practiced enough in your young time. Now when you close your eyes, you are able to witness the beautiful form of the Lord, the beautiful pastimes of the Lord. You'll be happy. You'll be happy completely. Then where is the question of mind thinking anything nonsense? Because the mind is now trained to just think about Krishna and Krishna conscious activities. Because he has done enough Shravanam now. He has heard a lot. In his right from young time, he has heard a lot. From Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, etc. He has heard a lot. And now is the time where he is relishing a lot. Exposed to reality. For him, it was not anything new. Since he was reading Bhagavatam, and Bhagavatam keeps the naked truth in front, he already knew what is the reality. So nothing new comes in front of him now. Loneliness is L. In fact, a devotee, when he grows old, when he's relishing Krishna consciousness, when people come to him, he said, please don't disturb me, I'm busy doing something. He's relishing, no? He's relishing Krishna consciousness. When someone comes to him, he's like, don't disturb me. Whereas a materialist, he's calling, Are koi to aao, mere se baat karo, koi to. Please come, please come. And the devotee is like, please don't come. Don't disturb me. I want to chant more, I want to meditate more. You see? Now, with all this, the value of a spiritualist increases. And you know what? In the family, everyone observes this. And they think, his body is diseased. He's going through some tough phase of his life. But still, he's smiling. Still, he's happy. People will come for counseling. Young people in the house, they'll come for counseling and they'll ask, I'm stuck in this problem. Can you please help? What am I supposed to do? In this way, we see a value of spiritualist goes on increasing because naturally people around will value his presence in the family. Whereas the value of materialist will go on decreasing because the materialist will only keep cribbing that I don't have this, I don't have that, you're not giving me this, you're not giving me that. This is exactly what takes place. Therefore, I always ask this, that where are we now? Are we in that or are we in this? If we are there in the red zone, then we should be very, very careful. We won't have tough time. Better to come in the green zone by practicing devotional service. And even for devotees who are practicing bhakti, it's a very, very important point. If we don't practice bhakti properly, we're going to be a burden to the community because we will do some nonsense to create some problem in the community of devotees. Whereas if we grow in our realizations with time and go deep in bhakti, we'll contribute and will inspire people to practice bhakti more intensely. Therefore, this point is very, very important. Very, very important. That how the value of a materialist goes down and how the value of a spiritualist goes on increasing. So my question is, when is the best time to practice bhakti? Are you sure? Now? See, in old age anyways we'll have nothing to do. So that's the best time, isn't it? That time we can chant 100 rounds a day. Possible? 100 rounds a day? अरे अभी practice नहीं करेंगे तो क्या होगा? Yes. There's a nice verse again from Bhaja Govindam. Please repeat. Balastavat krida sakta Tarunastavat taruni sakta Vriddhastavat chinta sakta Pare brahmani kopina sakta Balastavat krida sakta. Kids are asakt in what? Krida. Play. Once they go out in the morning, evening only they'll come back and get beatings from their parents. Kahan tha? Yes. Taruna stavat taruni sakta. In taruna avastha, asakti is in taruni, the opposite gender. I mean, there's no point in elaborating here. If it's a youth crowd, I could have enjoyed more stopping about this topic. Vriddha stavat chinta sakta. And in Vriddha Avastha, what is the attachment or what is the thing that the person does? Chinta. All the time, chinta. Pare Brahmani kopina sakta. In any phase of life, the person does not find time to do bhakti. The only thing that he says is, sorry, I'm busy. I'm busy playing. I'm busy searching for opposite gender. I'm busy chinta. I'm busy in thinking about whatever I'm not supposed to think. Busy. Therefore, I always say the best time of life is when the health is good. आप लोग का health ठीक है ना सब लोग का? इतना भी खराब नहीं है कि आप सुन नहीं पा रहे मेरा क्लास या बैठ नहीं पा रहे. Yes, it's okay. Correct? Memory power ठीक है? Yes. You all remember the acronym CAMEL? Yes. C? A? M? E? Exposed to reality. L? But if I would have given a class for senior citizens, for them, say acronym, camel तो जानवर है ना, acronym बना दिया. It's not their mistake. In fact, one of the devotee got his mother who was 80, and he was telling me, Prabhuji, can you please help my mother to memorize Hare Krishna Mahamantra? I was thinking, Hare Krishna Mahamantra memorize क्या करना है? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That's it. Then he was saying, no, she gets confused. She puts Ram and Krishna here and there. Then I was thinking, wow, this is memory power problem. See, now is the time we can memorize shlokas. We can memorize these different concepts. And we can remember all these different things. Now say, even after a few weeks, if you think about, camel ka C to yaad rahega na? I don't expect everything, at least C or L, something. Yes? Some memory power, you see. Responsibilities. Actually, with time, responsibilities goes on increasing. Sometimes devotees say that, "Prabhuji, एक बार मेरा responsibility खत्म होने दीजिए, फिर मैं भक्ति करूंगा." नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होता है. ऐसा नहीं होता है. Never ever you can think that responsibility will tend to zero. Responsibilities tend to infinity, not zero. Yes? And sometimes, even when we are not supposed to take some responsibility, forcefully we'll go and take and create mess for our own life. Therefore, it's very important to understand, abhi, jo bhi time hai, we have manageable responsibilities. Learning capacity. See, now we have learning capacity. When people become old, they feel they know everything. हाँ सब पता है, हाँ सब पता है. क्या लगता है मेरे बाल ऐसे सफेद हुए हैं? My hair are grown grey just like that. This is experience. This is knowledge. Very difficult. I've seen, even I'm sure our devotees will also agree, distributing Bhagavad-gitas to old people is the most difficult thing. They'll tell, आई से पता है भगवद गीता से, ये तो बचपन में पढ़ लिया था हमने. अभी याद नहीं है लेकिन बचपन में पढ़ लिया था. Learning capacity. Focus. See, throughout the class, all of you were focusing, answering questions. But in the old days, to focus is very difficult. Little bit you hear, then you'll doze off. Again, get up later. You see? So focusing is very, very difficult. Therefore, I always say, the best time of life is now. Right now. Right now. Therefore, I always say this, and therefore I gave this as a title. Now or never. This is the title which we started with. Therefore, I request all the devotees sitting here, all the participants of Gita course, and all the devotees who have been practicing for quite some time. Urgency factor has to be realized. It's now or never. Because more we are going to spend time in this world, more we're going to waste time. That's it, nothing else. Therefore, every moment that we have now has to be utilized to grow in devotional service. And as we grow with higher and higher realizations, our life will be blissful. And I always say, before dying, this is for all devotees, before dying, we should be able to tell others around the process works. ऐसे करके जीवन छोड़ना है, समझ रहे हैं? Then we would die. Suppose, I'm dying and someone comes to me. प्रभु जी वो इतना क्लासेस देते थे, दिन में 6 क्लासेस. बताइए काम करता है क्या ये सब? अब मरने वाले आप, बताइए काम करता है क्या ये सब? Say, I don't reach that level which I'm talking about. How much guilty will I feel? Yes. But say we have reached that level. And I have gained the taste for chanting Hare Krishna. I have gained the taste for the form of the Lord, pastimes of the Lord. I'm able to witness the spiritual realm. And the person comes in, Prabhuji, kya bolte hai? Does the process works? And then I blissfully open my eyes and say, yes, it works. Don't you think that will be the best preaching ever? Yes, best preaching ever. Therefore, this is a great responsibility that all of us have to practice nicely, set a proper example, and also, before leaving the body, tell people the process works. ऐसे artificial नहीं, actually from the heart, because it actually works. Thank you very much. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.